Welcome, everyone, to the Couple Nurses Podcast with your hosts, Matt Sartrick and myself, Peter Findera. This is a podcast where I tackle current health news and hot nursing topics, one conversation at a time. Few words from ourselves. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for supporting us. Patreon is up and running. We got the vlogs going every week. Couple Nurses every week. Couple News every week. Thank you for all the love you guys give us. Thank you for your comments. Make sure you guys subscribe to all those channels. We're still doing the 4x4x48. All our donations are going to go to the Fight for the Forgotten. If you guys want to donate to our cause, feel free to hop on our Instagram and hit the link. There's also going to be a link in the show notes and a link in the YouTube. And how's it going, Matthew?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy to be here. Grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you for listening. This is episode 100. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us the opportunity for us to be your hosts. We had an amazing time. So in this episode, we're going to talk about our experiences, podcasting, working full-time, trying to run a business, and of course, we're going to talk about dealing with drama in the workplace for part 2 of this episode.
So it's been roughly 100 weeks that you guys spent your time with us. Even though this is episode 100, you guys know we have other episodes that we release. So technically, this is episode probably 150 if you think about it. If you add up everything
130
together.
something, yeah.
Yeah, because we have 37 Couple News, and this is 100th episode of Couple Nurses, and we have a bunch of Patreon stuff that we do. So we easily have combined 150 episodes, if not more.
We've been busy, just producing this content, recording, finding time for it. It's been exhausting, to be honest. I'm enjoying it, but it's been rough, man. We've had some moments of just whoa, man. It's we feel like we're in it, literally. The business is taking over. We're just trying to go through the motions.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of you have watched episode number 1 that we gave a little bit of detail about ourselves. So in episode 100, we thought we'd give you guys a little bit of a refresher because episode 100 was over a year ago, right?
It's about to give me 2 years in April.
It's been a long time, so you guys probably don't know us as well as you thought, and we'll give you a little bit of a intro to ourselves. We'll go a little bit more in depth than episode number 1 because a lot has changed. We've definitely grown up a lot. Our hair got longer. We got facial hair now for all our YouTube viewers out there, and for people that aren't on YouTube, you should definitely hop on there. But me and Matt, we've known each other for years since the 2nd grade. I still remember the first time that we met. Matt gave me some music to listen to, and I gave Matt a video game. He gave me
exchange.
He gave me a album, a music album, the old school ones where it was like a pouch with a zipper, and you had 12 CDs there. So Matt gave me some CDs, and I was like, "Hey Matt, I got this new game, Age of Empires."
Oh, man.
I brought it to school. I was showing all the boys, "Damn, what kind of game is this?" It's a war game.
It was gold version too, man.
Dude, it was a gold version. You conquer. It was one of the first. What would it be called? It's called a strategy game, right?
It's a strategy game. I always loved tactics and you have to build your own civilization, your own military, and try to conquer a different civilization on that map, man. It was good.
Yeah, and that game was groundbreaking. It wasn't the first release of that genre, but it was every time Age of Empires came out, it was always groundbreaking. That was the Call of Duty back in the day.
Yeah, and that's elementary school. We kicked it off, and you moved somewhere out of state, out of the city, and I was still there. And we've communicated here and there. Of course, we didn't have no cars, so we always just kind of had our parents drop us off or something for the meantime. That was fun. And then when we turned 17, we started writing blog posts, right?
Nah, we were more than 17.
18 maybe.
We started writing blog posts. This was in college. We started writing blog posts.
Okay.
It wasn't that early, dude.
Okay, so 18, 19.
Probably, I think it was 19 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We started writing some blog posts, and we didn't really have a sense of direction of what it is, but we liked it. We liked writing to people. We liked thinking we have an audience that we wrote to. I remember my first blog post, it was "You can do it." And it was from a book that I read about fighting resistance and how to overcome it. So I had a lot of fun, man. It was we definitely treated it like a hobby, right?
Yeah, there was this I used to work with in Illinois, this nursing assistant that she used to always be the receptionist. And she used to read all our blog posts. She used to read them all the time. She's always because we used to share it on LinkedIn and stuff like that, and we used to just share them, and she would always read them.
Okay.
And she always liked reading them. So that was pretty cool. I would come into work and be like, "Oh, I really liked what you wrote," and I myself wouldn't even remember what I wrote, and she'd tell me about it. I'm like, "Oh, damn, yeah." It felt pretty good. But yeah, those blog posts were a nice introduction to working for yourself almost, because even though we didn't have our own office, we would go to Starbucks, and that's our designated work environment.
That was the
Starbucks.
office.
We always show up in the morning, That was our work environment. That was our office. Literally, that was our office. We go show up to Starbucks, we buy a coffee, write a few blog posts, take a break with those Starbucks lollipop
Cake
cake
pops,
things.
man. The
Those
cake pops, bro.
That was our reward. If we did a good portion of work, that was our reward. And after that, we would do work on some more things. So that was pretty cool. And we were at Starbucks from what, like 6-7 hours at a time. Imagine.
Yeah, we're
I think
putting
that's what we're
work.
missing. I feel like for us to be a little bit more efficient, we need one environment devoted to work. That's why office environments are so efficient, compared to working from home. Because us working from home here, we get distracted by a lot of things, and there's always so much to do,
Yeah.
right? Compared to if you just go to office where you don't have all these distractions.
It's like working from home. I'm sure it's hard for some people that don't have that, like, able to establish that, like, structure, right, in a way.
Yeah, even in nursing school, when I used to study, I rarely studied at home. Only time I studied at home is if there was like a giant blizzard or I couldn't leave the house. I would always go to the library, to my university, or to Starbucks, because I associated the outside environment from my home with work that needs to be done, and I like that. And even when we were first starting couple nurses, I would still do majority of my couple nurses work at Starbucks at a library, because because I'm a little bit like borderline ADHD, I feel like, and if I'm at home, and there's times where you have to do something and it has to be done, but you don't really feel like doing it. It's those tasks that get put to the side when you're at home, because
Always.
you're like, I know I have to do this, but I don't really feel like doing this, so I'm gonna do this because I have to do this as well. And in my mind, I enjoy doing this a little bit more, so I'm gonna do this. And you always put that.
So you're
to the side, to the side.
prioritizing things that maybe cause you the least amount of pain in a way.
So like
subconsciously.
yeah. So how there's those philosophers. One of them is, their theory is we always choose the option with the most happiness involved. So
Yeah.
if you have like a choice to do, let's say for example, to script the show notes episode, or let's say clean up the kitchen, and you're really not, you don't really feel like scripting today. In those two aren't the most enjoyable things for you, but just because you don't feel like scripting today, you're gonna pick cleaning the kitchen over scripting.
Yeah.
Even though both have to get done, you're gonna do one first, and most of your energy is gonna get devoted to the first thing, and you're gonna slack on the second thing. You're gonna kind of slack on the scripting compared to if you did it first. And that's why these offices are. That's why working from home isn't always the best for everybody. That's why these offices are created so people could go there, and that's just devoted to that, less distraction.
It's like maximize your productivity.
Yeah,
It's like people that say, like, don't be on your phone before bed,
Right.
because you want to create that ritual of, hey, the bed is meant to sleep, not to stay up and get stimulated in a way. It's
So that's why I
tricking
really
your
like,
brain.
and that's what we really missed. And I feel like when we were writing blog posts, we were super efficient, dude.
Yeah.
Because we just go to Starbucks and we just associate Starbucks with caffeine and work, and that's it. That's literally what it was. We would take like little breaks to like hang out, chit chat, but we never really did that much. We would literally go to Starbucks for the whole till they open, from they open till they close. How much times do we do that? Like we did twice a week, and we just like hammer out things, and society is gonna miss that. It's going to reach a point where people seem to be more productive at home now, but it's going to develop over time. The same that happened to me, where you get caught up with these distractions, and then if you don't catch yourself in time, you're gonna get caught up in that little snowball effect until you get worse and worse. And then you're going to have to break that by either, one, having an environment devoted just to work, by either creating a room in your home that's an office, or by physically leaving and going somewhere else.
Yeah, so I like the productivity standpoint there. I would also say it's about organization, because going from writing blog posts to running a business, there's a lot more that there's to do now. And prioritizing back then was pretty simple. Okay, we got to write a blog post and publish it. There's a prioritization. Now it's like, hey, we have to record this, but also we have to leave for this trip. So what can we do in this time frame? And I feel like because we somehow have some like-minded personality traits, and one of them is lacking organization. And because organization is lacked so much, sometimes it's like, damn, we get like flooded with all these things to do, and we don't know what to do. We just kind of go with the flow of whatever has to get done, like just doing things, not necessarily prioritizing which ones are like, the most important to get done.
We're decent at planning. Like we're pretty good at looking at the overall picture of what has to be done, and we're good at setting these little goals for ourselves. But we're missing the mark, like you said, with the organization, where we set up a few things to do in that day, and we tend to push those things off for something else.
Yeah.
I feel like we set time aside for these things, as we don't follow our own schedule. And that's what our
It's hard
organization is. Like
sometimes.
we're good at creating a schedule. We're just not good at doing that schedule, following through. And that's also, I feel like for me and you, we're really good at giving advice, but sometimes we're really bad at following our own advice.
Of course,
that kind of
man.
falls into that same situation, because how many times have I like thought about there's a few times where I thought about the stuff that I've done, and I've been like, if this would have been someone else, I would have called him an idiot and I would have gave him better advice. But like when you flip it to yourself, you're just like, damn, how does that happen?
Yeah, how does it happen to your own self? Yeah,
Right.
you're so damn smart.
Right. But if you put somebody else in this situation and you would be giving them advice, you tell them not to do that. But then you're the one that is doing that, even though you would tell somebody else not
Yeah.
to do it.
I think working full time as a nurse, like starting this travel nursing assignment these past 2 months, it's like been the greatest challenge of like just trying to balance everything. I think it's been really pushed to the test. And for those that are wondering, it's hard as hell. It's hard as hell to work full time. We're going to talk about the pandemic, and we did a little bit previous episode on 99. It's just like, yeah, it's like you get exhausted from work. And a lot of people come home and, they plan going to the beach, reading a book, doing self-care stuff, things for themselves. And we just have like this task list of interviewing, editing episode. And it doesn't suck necessarily, but man, I wish we had more free time, right? I wish we could free up our schedule somehow to have like those little times of enjoyment in our day.
Yeah, I had those feelings before, but I feel like since we're traveling now, doing the vlog, that sense of exploration, that kind of sense of doing something, it almost kind of faded away because I just enjoyed our trip with the vlog so much.
Yeah.
Where we're able to kind of, even though we're recording nonstop there, the vlogs and all this content, like I feel like we still had to get a break from something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Away
during
from
our
what
vlogs,
we're doing.
right? During our vlogs, we don't really script much or record podcasts very often or focus on like this computer work that I have to do with the vlog. It's kind of like a break from it, and I like those because then for the most part come back refreshed. If we have a good vlog and we're able to do like one or two things related to the business, that's a good trip, and you come back refreshed instead of like doing a vlog and then also recording an episode, also scripting. So what makes these vlogs hard sometimes is when we're behind with our day-to-day activities because then we have to catch up on the vlog.
Yeah.
And that just makes it that much worse because we have to film during the vlog. So I'm not saying that we're not 100% enjoying the moment. It's just, sometimes we have to incorporate work with us enjoying the views and things like that. And
Because it has to get done in a way.
right? So we're not getting 100% experience of this journey because we want to provide some value for you guys. So we take a little bit of enjoyment out of ourselves to provide you a better experience if you guys ever decide to travel or want to visit these places, because it does feel a lot better just pulling up to a viewpoint and just sitting and just looking at the sky.
Of course.
But we can't do that. We pull over, we tell people where we are, and then it gets kind of delayed a little bit.
And it's kind of cool because now when we go on trips and we don't have the camera out, it's like, whoa, you're able to take in so much more. You're just appreciating it because you're not like rushed or the GoPro doesn't have to come out. Something doesn't have to be recorded.
But it's got better over time, more efficient because in the beginning we used to always ask our buddy Luke about stuff. I mean, we still do, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I don't even know where I'm at and you got to remind me because we just do so much traveling and then me have to think about so many parts that we want to talk about, things like that. But it's getting more efficient. I feel like we're getting better at it. We're not thinking about it as much. It's almost the prep work is slowly dying down. So we're becoming more efficient and we just busted the camera, say a few things. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're doing more of that. Not just like everything's planned for what we're going to say.
Yeah.
It's not like we sit down in the car, rehearse what we're going to say and then do it.
Yeah,
we seem to be doing just more things out of the blue and it just seems to be working out.
Now, even if we podcast, like we don't have like exactly word for word of what we're going to say because then it would just sound very scripty. Like you say one sentence and I have to look back at my notes. Hey, we got to say this part. So people lose that connection with us. Like we're flowing, But
we have a nice balance because we also have that research aspect of our episodes.
Yeah.
Where we do read straight from our phones or straight from our laptops because if this is a research-based article and we want to provide evidence-based research, it's not going to come really from us. We want to read what the research study is actually showing and what it does. We want to present to you the stuff that we found. Right in their lingo, so it's not as opinion based; it's more research based.
And then also like if we have like something we want to seriously push, like we need research. We just can't say, "Hey, soybean oil is bad," without giving you guys the data, the percentages, or why it's actually happening.
Right.
We have to reinforce what we're saying.
Right. We're not people that say like, "Hey, Peter, why is soybean bad for you?" I'm not the person that's going to say because that's what they were saying on the news. I'm not the person going to say it. It's like soybean oil is bad for you because it releases these kind of catecholamines or different things, I'll explain to you why I think soybean oil is bad, and you can make your own decision.
Yeah.
I don't say like just because this research study said it was bad for you, so it's bad for you. I'm gonna do some digging.
That's the way we question things and find out. Yeah. But going back to a little timeline, so just around that same time as we started kind of blogging for fun, around 19, we also started off nursing school, and we knocked out nursing school quick. Like, I was a man on a mission. I didn't care about the college lifestyle, partying and dorming. Like, I did all that. Like, I was younger and I kind of partied. I did my drinking and all that fun stuff, that we were not going to chat about. So it's like from 18 to 22, it was straight business. I worked part-time. Peter was working, and we're just like, we were chatting here and there, right, throughout the week. How's school? We're still writing the blog post, and we just had this mission of finishing nursing school.
Yeah, it was interesting. And Matt was working at UPS full-time. You were working there since you were 16, right?
Yeah, man.
We got jobs when we were 16. I remember I first started working with my mom when I was like 13 in the bakery, and then I worked with her randomly throughout the years, and then I got my first job at a Polish deli when I was like 16, or it was maybe a little bit before 16. I was actually under 16. It was like maybe 6 months before my birthday when I got the job, so I was like 15 and something, but they just said I was 16. So then I did that for a little bit. Then I got another job at another deli, dude, and yeah, we've literally been working since we were like able to work.
It's just work ethic, man. And it's like the way I see it too is like what I always tell myself, even if I go on these runs, right, that we as humans, we can't escape from pain. It's either you have pain from doing something that's going to make you better, but it's going to suck in that moment, or you're going to have pain from not doing the thing and suffering from I coulda, shoulda, woulda. There's only two pains from choose from. So you either do it or you don't. But you're going to suffer either way.
It's uncomfortable either way. The thing people don't realize that the uncomfortableness that you get from regret lasts a lot longer than a comfortableness that you get in the moment.
Yes.
Like, for example, let's say you want to talk to a girl and, you're shy or whatever, and you decide to talk to her, right? It's uncomfortable, right? You're going to be a little shy, you're going to be a little nervous, anxious. Okay, but then you get it over with.
Yep.
Compared to you don't talk to her, and then you're in a shower 4 hours later, it's like, damn, I should talk to her. You're in a shower a week later, oh, I should talk to her. I wonder if she would have been cool, and then that lingers and lingers and lingers. And some people just don't know how to get over it. So if you're one of those people that drown in regret, just start taking more action and doing things more right off the bat. It sounds easy as fuck when I say it, but I suffered with it too. So do you. Like, there's sometimes you just wake up and you're just like, damn, I wish I would have done this last year, and you're just like, where's that coming from? But it's the past, and you have to learn how to move on. Or if it's hard for you to move on from things, then just tackle them head first at that moment.
Yeah, that or just like know that feeling, and just so you don't experience it again. That regret or that shoulda, coulda, woulda, should have done that. And it happens so many times with like anything, whether it's trying new things or not even food, like even like, let's just say you're at a theme park and you skipped out on that roller coaster. Now you're like, shit, I should have just went to go do it. It wasn't that bad. Skydiving's one of them. Just like I mentioned, girls, like you got nothing to lose, man. How many times have I like approached a girl and maybe let's just say got rejected, and it is what it is. But you know what? At least I know, and now I'm at peace of, oh, hey, she just wasn't into me, or it's just her, instead of me like thinking, damn, dude, every single day, like, what if something could happen with that girl? Well, I deleted all those like shoulda, coulda, wouldas because I went up there and approached her.
Right. You get denied and you forget about it, just like that.
That's all it is, man.
Compared to the regret that you get lingering.
It's it's just like teaching yourself the whole failure thing and the success thing, and yeah, man, we just have crazy work ethic, and that's why, like, after nursing school, we started the whole podcast thing. That's our transition from the blog post that we're going to talk about. But it's like we have this crazy work ethic, and no one can take that away from us because of like the way we were raised, right? And that's like another little bio thing that we're both from this hardworking Polish culture. We're just these Polish people. Just all they did is just worked hard and saved. That's all they knew, right? Because times are tough, World War II, and everything else. And we kind of had the same values, right? We're the product of our environment, and we just know how to freaking hustle and save money. And, we figured out the self-awareness part, and now we're just kind of doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's part of the main thing that our parents built into us is, well, from a financial aspect, is basically start working as soon as you can, because you're going to be working forever. So you should start saving up now so you can cut that working forever by a little bit. That's kind of how it is. And like, they say, you don't want to work forever. They want to save up because they don't want to work forever. But, they're still grinding it out day in and day out.
Yeah.
There's like no stopping it. And you just get into that habit of just nonstop working because, the parents came from Poland, so they weren't always fortunate enough to have these kind of jobs. And their jobs in Poland were, a lot worse and not as you could say, you don't get as much success from it or financial value as they do with the jobs right now. Because imagine our parents in Poland, they probably wouldn't be making as much money as they do here working on a farm.
And it's, and they still just came here and they're still kind of like not going by, but they're maybe working a job they don't like. But it's that feeling that they came here and gave you this wonderful ability to do whatever you can with your life. And that's like that forever. I'm not forever like in debt to them, but I'm just forever grateful where if I do things, I'll give it back to them, whether it's money or whatever I do with my life. Because it's awesome that we have this ability,
Yeah.
And, around that time where, we kind of finished nursing school and what we're like 21, 20. When did we start the podcast? We started 2 years ago. So, yeah, we finished nursing school. We're still kind of writing blog posts and we're trying to figure out like, how can we kind of take this off the ground? What can we do better? Because we're kind of writing to a dead crowd, I would say. Like we didn't really have an audience or with these blog posts. So we thought about, hey, how can we niche down? How can we reach more people? And like I was always about this impact, like I'm at work and I take care of 2 people. How can I impact more people? How can I build not like legacy, but how can I like create a bigger impact once I like leave this earth? What am I going to be remembered by, And nursing is cool, but I could do this on a bigger ability, and I'm doing it exactly with this microphone because I have no idea whoever's listening. Like you might be black, white, I don't know, in Africa, in Mexico right now, listening in Europe, like wherever you are, like first of all, thank you. And it's just like, yes, this is this ability that I have that could maybe condense this positive message and people could get impacted, right? So we went from writing the blog post and then we finally said, hey, let's start a podcast. And that's when we started coming up with the logo, and like things take time, man. Even the way we say it, like we say every single episode, yeah, there's new updates coming out. Updates are coming out. And sometimes it takes months. And it's like, yes, it just takes that long sometimes. You have no idea as an entrepreneur how much shit goes bad. That goes, the file gets corrupted, that gets deleted. We're missing like the external, or we come up with an idea, we have to scratch the idea. It's like, it's a process, man.
Or even like learning how to do things. Like we have this idea on what we want done, but since we don't come from like a computer science background, we don't know what it takes, and we think it's something so simple to do.
Yes.
And then we're just like, damn, we got to take all these steps just to do this, and that's how things get delayed. And that's like that's okay. We've learned to kind of accept it and work with it because we have such great ideas. But the thing is, it usually takes us a lot longer to do them. Like to do them because we don't have any kind of experience on it, and plus we work full time. So if me and Matt, figure out an idea before our shift, and we're doing a 3 in a row, well, guess what? That idea is delayed 3-4 days.
You got to wait 4 days before you even could put any intention, action behind it.
Yeah, because we do 12-hour shifts and we do nights, so there's no really time in between shifts. We just come from work, go to sleep, and then basically wake up and go hit the next shift and get that done as a means to the end, And yeah, so would you say you became a nurse because you wanted to have an impact on someone's life? Is that the reason why you became a nurse?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say definitely like, being smaller and getting my appendix taken out and seeing a little bit of the healthcare. I've always liked, just like I said before, health, science, like the whole nutrition thing. I loved eating. I love how the human body operates. And if you look at nursing, like it's totally different than what you like went to school for, Like I'm a professional butt wiper, right? I really.
At times you have those shifts. Dude, if you definitely have those shifts where all you feel like is you've been wiping ass.
Yeah.
And like you're sitting like you think it's all over with. You think the patient's already done taking a shit, and you're sitting by your desk and you smell something bad. You're just like, God damn it.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, let me lift the blanket and there's more poop. So did I necessarily go to school to be that nurse? I did it for the right reasons. I still have those same intentions, but in a different way. It's like life is evolving, so you're evolving with it. You have the same intentions and values of helping and making an impact, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in that career or that specific unit. It could be different, and we're evolving, whether it's from a unit whether it's travel nursing right now, right? We're just evolving, whether it's going to be just this podcast. I have the same intentions. I'm just kind of flowing a little bit, you know, and that's how I feel about it. How about you?
Regarding nursing or regarding the podcast?
Just why you went into it, you know?
why I
Like,
went to nursing?
did you do it for that? You know, like that's why we got into the subject of poop. Is like my intention was to just help people. You know, I'm a professional butt wiper, but you know, I still have the same values, and it just kept molding me to like who I am, kind of.
Yeah. So with me nursing, pretty similar reasoning, and I feel like this is going to be very similar for all nurses. Is you want to make a change on someone's life, have some kind of an impact.
Yeah.
For me, not necessarily legacy or anything like that. I just like the fact of giving people advice and like them bettering themselves. You know, I just like seeing people like improve their lives, not necessarily because of what I did or whatever, not necessarily giving credit to me or whatever or anything like that. But I just like being the person for people to seek guidance to or just ask questions and I have the answers. I like being that person with the answers and with the solution. You know, not necessarily like building a legacy or anything. I just like to be there and have somebody better their lives in one way or another, like thanks to kind of my help.
From one conversation, let's just say, yeah.
Yeah, so like that. So like it was cool because like I got to do that in a hospital, and then when I used to live in Lockport, I used to go to a gym with a bunch of older people, and we always have a conversation, and that was cool because there was like older people, and there was like a younger crowd. It was either high school kids or older people in like their 50s, 60s, that kind of age group, and there wasn't really nobody in between. And I was the only really one that was in my 20s.
Okay.
So I was literally me and like maybe one other girl that were in her 20s. Everyone else was either below the age of 20 or above the age of like 45, which is interesting. And I'm like slap dab in the middle. So I would have people that are younger than me like ask me for advice on my technique on lifting and like what do I do and all that. And there was other people in like their 50s, 60s also see guidance from me based on from like a medical standpoint. So I felt fucking amazing going to the gym because I always got a good workout in, and people would always ask for opinions about this, ask for opinions on that.
Like this young muscular dude.
Yeah, and it was cool. And even the older people would, they would ask these random questions, and I'll be able to answer them for them, if regarding stocks or finances or like what I'm doing or how am I incorporating this or how am I able to work full time or work on a blog, things like that. Or they'll talk about their businesses with me, and like they will kind of try to get my viewpoint on things to better their business,
Yeah.
like things like that. And I would also get a lot of guidance from them in more of like a morality standpoint, like because they've been through life longer than me, so they would seek guidance at what's really important. They would show me the benefit of long-term happiness compared to short-term happiness. So like I can't really think of an example right now, but we'd have a conversation and I would be like, why are you taking it this way? Think about it in the long run. Wouldn't you be happier doing this? And I'd be like, yeah, you're completely right. But sometimes when you're in like your younger 20s, you're not able to see the big picture always, and they show you the big picture. So it was an awesome environment, dude.
I also like the fact that like when it comes to making impact and why we're kind of doing things, so there's so many people that are like in a war with themselves and fighting themselves, meaning they're still figuring themselves out. And you could give that little piece of advice and it can make such a difference because you've went through this, right? So it's like, I feel like in life, there's like this phase where you're a child, you become a little bit of aware, and now you have to figure yourself out. Once you figure out your inner demons, your inner game, then you could look outward and build things, right? And some people are just stuck in that phase of just trying to figure themselves out their whole life, whether it's addiction, struggling with things like, dropping out or losing their, home. And they're always in this little ruckus with themselves. Mm-hmm. So imagine just giving that advice and helping them get through that. I think that's gold. Yeah. That means a lot.
Yeah. Like it takes a lot of like self-reflection, like self-realization when like a 40 or 50-year-old comes up to you and just like, damn, like, you just give me really good advice. And I was like 21 and someone in their 50s told me that, hey, I wish I would have heard this sooner. I'm like, damn, like you're 50 years old and you're just hearing this, and I'm 21 and kind of already got figured out. I'm not saying I have everything figured out. By no means do I have anything figured out. But the key thing is it's just like conversation and discussion, and just people might be at a different age, but they all go through different experiences, So something you might take for granted, like there's people out there that just take organization for granted. Like they're organized no matter what, and it's just like It's just something that they do
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Like for me and you, we gotta really focus to stay organized.
Yeah.
Compared
We need intent.
Right, compared to like going to a gym. Going to a gym is nothing for us. We could go to someone could drop us off at a random gym and we'll get a workout right there. We could work
Yeah.
out with any kind of weights, anything. We have it that dialed down. That if you drop us off at any gym, I could give you any kind of workout for any kind of muscle, basically. Right. That's if you're looking at it from that standpoint. Compared to our organization, where we lack on, it take us a little bit longer to
Piece
to
of
kind
paper, let's
right.
write this down.
We got to figure out how we're gonna get organized. What does it take to get organized? We're gonna look up some steps on Google. Compared to someone that
whiteboard.
that it's just like clockwork. And that takes time. See, that's what I mean. We might both be nurses. We might all be nurses. We might all be in the same field. We might go into this field with the same interest, but the way we're raised, the things that we do are completely different.
Yeah, and that's what it comes to, like, the whole entrepreneurship and like nursing that we're doing, because your strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes you just have to add somebody in that like not doesn't correspond with that. That's the exact opposite, correct? So for example, it's Peter, and then Luke, right? Luke is our guy that like video edits, does our vlogs, does everything, right? And in the background, he's the super organizational dude. That's the exact opposite of us that like benefits us, right? Yeah. We do things differently our way. We benefit, this business in a specific way. And then there's him that adds value and adds that organization. So, yeah, I'm losing my train of thought of where that conversation was going. But it's just like you need balance for everything. And, for a team, for yourself, like you could figure out your strengths, but sometimes you can't double down on your weaknesses. Yeah. Sometimes you have to outsource them, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in a business, your personal life, right? Just like in nursing, man. If you keep forgetting stuff, well, you're not gonna just pick up a shift and remember everything all of a sudden. Just take that piece of paper, write it down, because that's your weakness.
So. Yeah, and then the best key for self growth is to consistently work on yourself and consistently change these flaws that you have. And me and Matt, even though we outsource certain things for our business, that's for the business, right? If you don't have a business or don't want to open a business, the business is basically you, right? You got to promote self growth, so you can't really outsource things like Matt and I do for like organization, things that we lack on. So if you want to attack an organization, you have to take steps to better your organization in general, because at the end, if you're not organized, then no one's gonna be organized for you. You know what I'm saying? So
it's true.
But we talked a little bit about why we became nurses, basically for the same reason. We have compassion. We like have an impact on someone's lives. But like the podcast is really cool because, like with the podcast, like I like to hear, even though this is a podcast and we're the ones talking, I enjoy seeing different opinions. I enjoy when people tell me a completely different view than like what I have. Yeah. That's why when me and Matt were younger, I remember when we first started digging into different religions. We were born Catholic, we were raised Catholic. That's all we knew was Catholicism up until like the age of 15, 16, when we started to look at different religions. And that was the first time my brain was opened up to different viewpoints that I personally was able to understand that they are not wrong.
And you didn't judge them.
You didn't judge them.
Like normal behavior, right?
That was the first time where that's almost when I became open-minded, was when looking up different religions. Because we realized that, hey, because there's different groups of sects in each religion. Like there's, let's say Catholicism, there's people that are Catholic, they're considered Catholic, and they're in Africa just causing havoc and destruction. They're Catholics, but they're like... how there's the right side of people and then there's the white supremacy?
Yes.
What is that called? They're like far leaning to the right. What is the name of that? I forgot.
They're not polar opposites. They're
whatever. They're like very polarized groups that even though they're in a good organization, that's a good umbrella term, they're just that part of the organization that's bad.
Extremists?
There's always extremists, right? There's like extremists in the Middle East, that people that are Muslim. They're Muslim extremists. Those are probably the most common ones that you probably heard a lot because of 9/11.
Yeah.
But there's also Catholic extremists, there's Christian extremists, there's Buddhist extremists that harm people, that do more harm than good. And we realized that when we were younger, but the point I'm trying to make is opening myself up to different religions. I opened myself up to a world that just because somebody thinks differently than I do, believes in different things than I do, does not make him necessarily bad, or does not make him incorrect.
Yeah, right? Because they're not wrong.
They're not wrong. Because before that, we went to Catholic school. Everyone was Polish. Everyone was Catholic as a Catholic school. We went to school as majority Catholic, right? majority white and Catholic. Yours are different because you were in like
In
more
Chicago, yeah.
But everyone was still pretty much Catholic. Like that was still the majority. So all you seen and all you think you grew up with Catholic. Polish school, everyone was Catholic. You know. And then there was those times where like somebody would ring your doorbell and your parents would be like, don't open that door because they're probably trying to convert you to a different religion. And they're almost like they would scare you, because you were built. We were almost built as kids, built on fear of others' beliefs.
Yeah.
Like other people's beliefs that aren't the same as yours were there to poison you almost.
It's the whole culture, cancel culture thing, dude. It's like there's like this one viewpoint of thinking that's right. And even with religion, there's like this weird norm that you can't discuss a different perspective, right? It's not favored. It's something you shouldn't be talking about because that's it. That's the truth. He's Muslim? Oh, he's going to hell. He has to be believing in Jesus. It's like this weird man dilemma. And it's like people just don't see it. That I feel like what we agreed on is that just religion is just this form of control, and it just divides us further and further in this system where we are really all one. I think it's time for us to see it, man. I thought we were gonna see it during this pandemic, and it didn't happen, man.
There was a phase since around religion, like after that phase of my life, I almost believed in that no religion is really correct. And then when I got older a little bit, I thought that religion has no benefit.
Okay.
But then as time goes on, I realized that the thing about religion is not the book itself or the practices, it's the faith portion that's the key.
The hope and all that,
Yeah. So that portion of religion, like the faith, that fosters love, not separation. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point in my life, for some reason, I came to revelation where religion has no value. It's all the same nonsense, and there's really no point of it. Everyone should just live their life accordingly, be a good person.
Yeah.
But then, like I want to say, it probably happened maybe like a year or two ago, where instead of fully not believing in religion, I realized that religion. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it too from an outside perspective. You have to kind of go inside it to realize the key benefit of it. And it's not the religion itself; it's what the faith of it fosters.
Yeah.
Because if you believe in, if you believe in Jesus or believe in any kind of those, not pastor, like disciples, messiahs. If you believe in the messiahs and you truly believe in them, like you, not necessarily believe in them, you believe in their word, right?
Yeah.
So in their word is usually love and kindness, things like that. And sometimes people need that in their lives to foster that within them. So some people need religion to have them realize that, hey, this faith leads to love. Love exists.
Yeah, it's like you need to open up your emotions to your love, like in spirituality, talk about the energy centers, right? You need to open that up to your energy to like feel it. And yeah, you're right. That's what religion does in a way. And then it also has that weird extreme. That's why, like, if you compare, for example, Catholics to Christians, right? Catholics, they're very like by the book with specific commandments of things to do, and if you don't do them, or if you don't go to confession, X, Y, and Z happens. But then you have Christianity, which is there's different forms, of course, right? And we're going very broad here, which is like just believing in the Bible. They don't not often go to confession, and they have like this more opening spiritual sense of Christianity to them, right? Compared to Catholicism. So yeah, I see what you're saying, where they're like there's like those two extremes and why you like need them.
Yeah, but I'm telling. There's a time where I thought religion literally had no benefit. I was probably going through some dark times or some shit, but
phases, man.
But but then like you realize that how beneficial religion is, because some people, that's all they need in their life is just that religion, and that's what holds them onto life. That's what guides them through life, and that's completely okay.
That's why
I was just being biased.
Yeah.
Because the way I saw things, I thought I was reaching that point where I was being so open minded. It was turning almost into a negative. It kind of got flipped at one point. I was really open minded, and then for some reason it like flipped to I'm so open minded that I know about everything about these things, where my way is to do the right way because I'm open minded. Kind of stuff.
A lot of ego. You took that ego spin.
Yeah, and since I'm open minded, my opinion is the best because I'm open minded, and you're not open minded yet. That kind of shit. Like, see how it flipped?
I'm the bigger person here. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. That happens to everything. There's always an extreme. that's what happens to open-mindedness. Like, you think of open-mindedness, you don't think of, conflict. You don't think of, trying to convince somebody of your opinions. You think of just kind of free thought. Interesting.
Yeah, be careful with your ego, right? You always need an ego check with anything, man. So, what's in store for a couple of nurses, if you're wondering? I think there's a pretty good bio, man. Episode 100. By the way, it's been flowing. Geez, man, we're working on a lot of things for those that are wondering, as always. But we're finally, I think as when this episode is out, our store should be officially out, correct? So, Cup of Nurses .shop should have a bunch of cool things out there for you to purchase. We're going to be wearing most of the gear out for the race, right? So that's going to be pretty cool. So, yeah, we're working on this whole little challenge of the race. And it's, part fundraiser, part for ourselves of just getting a challenge done that we probably think that we could never get done. That's cool. We're working on, Frontline Warriors, which is something that we're starting up. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to help nurses become more conscious in a way, right? That's our big motto there.
Right. It's big on consciousness, big on like self-reflection, big on being the person you want to be, basically, because we have the drive within us to be ourselves, right? And then we get this influence from the outside world, right? How many times did you have a thought in your head, and then you went out there in society, and that thought changed?
Yeah, or you stopped yourself from doing it because of the opinions of others.
Right, not because you thought about it that way, not because you wanted to stop, is because these outside influences had you stop. And then that could lead to, like we said before, regret, things like that. So we just want to, promote a life for you, basically, right? It's basically what it is. We want you to live your own life without taking as much external stimulus to heart.
Yes.
Right? Because we have so much social media. A lot of things that I do get impacted by social media, and then I'm just like you think about it, you're just like, why did I do that? Did I do that for myself, or did I do that because of societal pressures? That's not really me. And then but the thing is, like, it's okay. Don't dwell on it. Don't regret that you did it. That's just something that's like actually that you took, and you move forward and you grow from there.
Yeah.
Because we're 26 years old. Matt's turning 27. You're almost to 30, dog.
Oh man,
I'm still young.
Close.
Nah, I'm just joking. We haven't even peaked yet, guys. So imagine what's gonna happen during this podcast peak season, dude. But what I was trying to say? Oh yeah. So the thing is, we talked a little before about growth, hitting your prime, things like that. Like, life is always going to be a learning lesson. Always. Like, our grandparents are even learning.
Yep.
That's the thing. Like, we seek this knowledge and this wisdom from older people, but they also seek it from you. Because guess what? Because they have this knowledge, this wisdom of longevity, of perseverance, of sustainability, of survival, but they seek something from us because we are literally a vision of their younger selves. They seek youth from us as much as we seek wisdom from them.
That's a very good point.
That's why people always say, if I was your age, this.
So
if I was your age,
it's like they're living through you.
They're almost living through you. And I noticed that especially during my workouts in Lockport. It was so interesting because, like, the way they would talk, it's almost like when they talk to me compared to when they talk to their friends is a little bit different. Like, a little bit of their youth came back out. Like, they were able to,
the inner child.
Yeah, like when I noticed a lot of times when they would talk to like their friends that were the same age in their 50s, they would kind of like tell a story and then kind of cut it short because they would forget or miss some points. But when they would talk to me, it's something like in their brain was triggered and they're able to tell a story better, or they were able to tell you a story so you could kind of try and relive it. Like they're trying to have you feel what they felt when they were your age. It's very cool. Interesting. Yeah, it's very cool, and they're fit like their brain worked better when they talk to me. Because I was noticing that before, because we're all being a steamer, like 8 dudes deep, and and everyone, it's always the same eight dudes deep, always giving shit to each other about Joe, I heard this happen, how'd your wife feel about it? Like, always giving each other shit,
right? And
then they would tell each other stories, and they would kind of lose their train of thought, or they would be like, oh, you know how it was, things like that. But when they told me, it's almost like I got more details in it, and it's probably because they got excited. Because they're sharing something from their past, from their youth with me that I haven't got to experience because of the giant generational gap.
Damn.
There's always so much to notice.
That's so cool. Mm-hmm. And speaking of the conscious movement, so yeah, not only is it being conscious as a person, but it's also being conscious in general for any frontliner. One example is a nurse. How do you become more conscious? How do you say no to not picking up shifts or getting overtime? Or how do you, notice yourself when you're going through burnout, and how do you unplug from work? How do you do all this? Whether it's through yoga, meditation, journaling, talking to somebody. Like, we want to create this movement, start this group of people that are we're conscious, and we could do anything with that conscious ability once we we set our mind to it. And one of those things that we would love to tackle is the work environment in the hospital. It's ridiculous, whether it's nurse-patient ratios or anything else. Like, we need that positive change, and I feel like once we have nurses that first come together to become more conscious, then we could have these nurses be like, wow, you know what? Work is affecting me a lot more than I thought. Mm-hmm. Now we have this group of nurses that we could actually go make an impact in the society. Mm-hmm. And that'd be dope. And that could be with any frontline, not only nurses, whether it's cops or EMTs. The world is infinite, the possibilities once we get the ball rolling, I feel like.
In nursing school, we had those teachers that tell you, they try to prepare you to the actual nursing career itself, because as we know, nursing school and being a nurse is pretty differential. We could both agree on that, right? Like, well, you thought nursing was going to be nursing school, a lot different than what it actually is, right?
Yeah.
But never have I seen a teacher mention the toxicity or the poor nursing work environments that nurses create around themselves.
Drama, which we're about to talk about next.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the next. So, but maybe we had a day or two where we talked about bullying in a workplace because they're like required by like OSHA law or whatever. But nobody ever brought up or pointed out or discussed how the nurse work environment can be negative. I'm not saying it's negative all the time. I'm not saying every unit is toxic, is poor culture. But at no point in time did a teacher or professor tell me, hey, you're going to be in some poor work environment. There's some poor nursing culture out there, and this is how to get past it, or this is how to fix it. Nothing. Nobody teaches you that at all.
Yeah, there's no tools for that.
No skills. And even if that's why it's so hard to change, because nobody talks about it. It's like a low-key thing. And I understand why it's a low-key thing, because guess what? How would you feel as a patient if you knew there was drama going on while you're getting taken care of?
No, yeah, for sure.
There's drama going on while your aunt is being titrated with 4 drips, and we're now adding another medication or sedation, and there's drama going on in the background. How would you feel like that? That's that hidden. Those are the hidden problems of nursing, for sure.
Things that people don't know about.
Because this is healthcare, dude. If you put a career that deals with people's lives, and you add the fact that there's drama going on outside of that, and there's people clashing heads and people not being able to get along, that looks horrible. Like, people are gonna say, yeah, well, you're too busy with your talking with your coworkers and dealing with drama, so I'm taking care of my aunt. Imagine if society knew how bad certain workplace cultures are.
Yep. I could imagine. And it's the same thing with schools, right? They don't teach you how to balance a checkbook, how to save money, how to do this, right? Mm. They don't. They just teach you how to be a consumerism
society.
Same way, in a way,
That's true.
It's like a blinded approach, It's like, hey, come into the system, take a bunch of loans out, because, they teach these college students loans. You'll pay them off with this awesome job once you graduate. And that's not always necessarily
But that's the thing it's like, so where I've learned to balance a checkbook and how to write out checks was my parents.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that
the state can't teach you everything.
Exactly. That's one of the things that, like you said, the state can't teach you everything, and we shouldn't put more pressure on that. Luckily, me and you know that what school doesn't teach you, and that's what we're gonna be able to provide for our kids in the future.
Yeah.
Like, hey, didn't learn this in school. That's what we're gonna do. Same with our parents teaching us what they knew, right? They didn't go to the same school as we did. We learned different things, but our parents still taught us the way they did things, or the way they saw the world, or the way they do things. Even though it wasn't directly beneficial to school at that point in time, it was beneficial to you longer down the road. So that's you can't just, as a society, some people think that You drop your kid off in school, and they're gonna learn everything they need for their life. They're gonna come home. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. We're going to eat dinner, do all this, and we're going to sleep, and then rinse and repeat. That's not how it works, especially when you have kids. We don't have kids, so we're kind of blind to this. But in my perspective, the right way to raise a kid, you got to be involved with that kid. You got to teach him. It's work. It's hard work.
It's a full-time job.
That's when my parents asked me, "Hey, when are you gonna have kids? You're 26 years old. People are getting married." I'm just like, "Mom, Dad, like if I have a kid now, how much time can I devote to this kid? What am I gonna? I'm gonna need daycare. How am I gonna raise him? Right? Yeah, I could probably, if for example, if I would have a kid right now with a female,
I hope so, dude.
you know what I'm saying? You never know nowadays. I want to make this clear, So if I would have a baby with a female, and she'd have a kid, I would probably be the bread maker, not to be a dick, but I'm not going to give up my couple nurses and the business that we run. So unfortunately, my wife would have to take the burden of kind of putting her interest on hold. And if let's just say she's a nurse, because we're in the nursing field. So instead of working her 3 shifts, then going to do a hobby or something, she's gonna have to sacrifice that.
Yeah.
And I understand I'm gonna have to sacrifice something too, which would probably be cutting off from the gym. So I'll probably gain some weight just to kind of help out too. But she would have to take on majority of the responsibility. And I don't wanna be that person,
Yeah.
When I have kids, I want to be financially stable, where what my kid wants for the rest of their life is whatever my kids want for the rest of their lives, they're going to be able to get. I'm just gonna make them work for it. Financially, I'm gonna be secure enough for them to get whatever they want, but I'm not gonna give it to them.
Yeah, work ethic, of course.
And then I want like my future wife to also be able to enjoy her life. Like I understand that the first 3 or 4 years of the kid's life, you're going to spend the majority of time with that kid. But I want to be financially structured where, she's still going to have time to do her own thing. And I'm going to have time to do my own thing because we're going to be pretty well established.
Maintaining a sense
it's a
of
process. Like
individualism.
my parents would love to have grandkids. Like, would I love to have kids? I would love to have kids. But just, as we, get older, like we probably enjoy kids more and more unless you don't want to have kids. So if I get kids right now, would I? Yeah, if it was ideal. Yeah, why the fuck not? But I'm not in an ideal situation, so I'm not gonna put that burden on myself or on anybody else's life.
Agreed. We're supposed to talk about consciousness here.
This is very conscious, dude.
We went on a topic with babies. This
is very conscious.
Peter's baby coming soon, 2020, 2030 maybe, man.
Yeah, dude. Like 2026, if anything, dude. Nah, it's 2026, 5 years. I don't know if I will know somebody in 5 years. I don't know. I'm not gonna bring that into the world.
Irrelevant. So that's a very great summary of a bio of who we are. Anything you want to add on to Frontline Warriors, things that we're working on?
Things we're working on. So Patreon is still pushing. We're trying to do these live streams more consistently. Probably should live stream this, but it's okay. So if you guys haven't been on Patreon yet, check it out. We have some cool clips. We're probably going to expand that maybe sometime in the future when we have some more time. Let's see what else we're doing. We're going to have some cool merch for that 4x4 at 48. So there's going to be like 12 different shirt and clothing concepts that we're going to release. So it should be pretty cool. We also have some future collections that we're thinking about creating, but those are on hold for now, just because we want to get the basis, the basics and the base of our store style, and it'll be cool, and because we're gonna have an idea of having new collections every so often and have like time sensitive stuff where it's only gonna be available for the month, and of course we're gonna do stuff for the holidays.
We should freaking make an announcement that Couple Nurses is hiring serious job inquiries, because that's what we need. We need to buy time sometimes, you know what I'm saying? We're working a virtual assistant to have one just so we could offload what we do, and we have more time for everyone that's listening.
And so I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do after our contract ends as well. We're not sure if we're going to go back to the city and then maybe do the vlog bi-weekly instead of weekly. We still have to figure it out because, we're in the city. There's a limited amount of stuff we could do. It's a little bit different. We're definitely going to have a drastic drop in income. So it's going to be a little bit different, and we're more limited in Chicago compared to here.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see where it takes us. And it's not gonna, and whatever we do, it's cool because we're gonna show you guys the travel nursing life, and also the life we do once we're off contract, which is gonna be pretty cool. We're not gonna be off contract for very long because we're chasing that bread, but it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, and it's a good time for yourself to recoup, even though we're chilling now.
So because the one thing that I get from travel nurses is they don't take breaks because it's so addicting. where they're chasing that
fun.
paycheck each time because you're making some nice money and you keep making it. You're just like, damn, I could stack up this money. And a lot of people, a lot of nurses, they do travel nursing. They buy a new car, they do travel nursing, and they pay it off within like 6 months to 8 months, just like that. Like a $40,000 car, and they just pay it off because they pick up the overtime. They get a nice contract, and with travel nursing is cool because you could take a travel nursing assignment that pays well, but you can make it more of a leisure. You could flip it. You could make it a leisure where you just work the 36 hours and then rest of the time you're chilling.
Yep.
Or you could decide to take maybe you don't want to do 13 weeks, maybe you want like an 8-week contract where you do 4 shifts a week with a chance to pick up even more overtime. And that 8 weeks, you're just making money. You're on the grind. And then the next 13 weeks, a little bit of leisure, and then you don't have any kind of contracts for like a month. Dude, the world is your oyster. The only scary thing that I see with travel nursing is not a lot of nurses have 401ks.
I was going to say Social Security gets impacted too because you're not getting money taken away as much.
So as long as you're saving some money, putting it aside, not blowing it all, you're putting it aside for your 50-year-old self, 60-year-old self, then you should be good. But the thing is, you girls like to shop and spend money, and if it's not getting taken away before you see it, a lot of you are not putting it away.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the same way. I haven't been really putting anything into my 401k or travel nursing assignment. I'll be honest with you. I have my 401k for my last job.
You're investing in different things, though, if you think about it.
But luckily, I have investment that I do through Robinhood, and that's kind of long term for the most part. Even though I do some short term trading there too, but majority of it's long term. And I made more just off doing that within a 2-year time frame than I have in my 401k, my prior job. With because they double it or whatever if you work, but I'm not going to be there for a certain amount of time, so I'm not going to benefit off that,
Yeah, you can make money in different ways, and like if you're thinking about travel nursing, no one should be relying on 401k in their like retirement plan as the end all be all of income when they retire. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a couple properties, imagine how nice that is just to have that passive income rolling in when you're older. And just so you're not relying on Social Security and all that.
But it's a higher risk too.
Of course, if they'll even exist in these next years, because look what's happening.
But 401k is simple. If you guys have a chance to do a 401k, I highly recommend doing a 401k. It's just like money that's being put aside for you without you even really seeing it. That's so easy to do. And compared to real estate, like, the real estate's going up, but there might be a time where for some reason your location just takes a hit. And guess what? That $300,000 house you bought 10 years ago is now worth $250K. Yep. Or it's still just worth $300,000, and you put all this time and effort into it, and guess what? It didn't go up, and sometimes even break even. Plus, you had an interest and stuff. So it's not real estate is great if it works in your favor. It just takes time to pick a property, and it takes time to actually make money off it because you can't be that person that says, "Hey, this probably going to be worth twice as much in 10 years," and then year number 5 you're scared because it dropped by 25%. And now you sold it low because you got nervous, and then you look back at it, 5 years more passes by, you look back at it, damn, I wish I didn't sell, I would have made 10 times this. So it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder. And plus, putting real estate, it takes capital, right?
Yeah, you can't just invest with $5K.
Right? Not everybody has 10% to put down on a home or an apartment complex, But that's kind of, you pay to play, right? You don't get a 401k without a job, right? You don't get a 401k without having income, right?
You don't become a nurse without nursing school.
Exactly, right? There's a means to an end. It's just like, how much are you willing to risk now? And kind of basically, how much are you willing to risk now compared to how much you're willing to risk later?
That's the $1 million question. How much are you willing to risk? See you guys in part number 2. You ready for part number 2?
Maybe part number 2.
All right, guys, we're going to talk about drama in the workplace. Who's ready for that? So part 2 of episode 100, we're going to talk about drama in the workplace, but we're also going to talk about why drama occurs, so some phenomenons, reasons why, and then also we're going to talk about on steps on how to dial it down, and then also our own little experience of how we experienced drama and how we dealt with it.
We should probably just tell them what happened right off the dome.
Let's go, man. And like before that, it's interesting like why we have drama in the workplace. Like it's so weird where we're in such a high stressful environment. That's the least thing that we need because we understand the value of our coworkers. We understand how important they are when it's a critical situation, how we need pressers, priming, tubing, but yet we're like so prone to drama and getting sucked into it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just the female environment, man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Sometimes you think about nursing and you're like, you hear what the girls talk about, the conversation, you're just like,
oh yeah,
no dude would ever talk about this or no dude would ever like care about this. It's just like, Like catty women, they're everywhere, and it just happens to be in healthcare.
And they get off it, man. They get off it. They get this anger fuels their cortisol, whatever it is. They get a binge of energy from it, and they enjoy it. Believe it or not,
They do. It's short term gain, and then there's a lot of girls that do these things in spite, and then they regret it later on. They don't tell anybody, but internally they're almost dying inside. They're like, damn,
fucked up. Now I gotta deal with this person looking at me this way the whole time, type of thing, right?
Yeah. So a little bit of background on what happened to us at work on a personal level is, so what got us technically, you could say, in trouble was I was taking a nap at work, and Matt posted it on his Instagram. Was it a couple nurses' Instagram or both?
Either or. I know it was, a couple nurses.
And I'm pretty sure I reshared it. So it was on Instagram on all of our profiles. So yeah, so I was taking a nap, which was completely okay. My patients were being watched. Everything was safe. No big deal. And then later on, I sent Matt, or it's a different instance. I sent Matt a Pleurex, a female external catheter with some eye drops
attached. My eyes are dry.
Yeah, because we wear contacts, right? So your eyes are always dry in the hospital. So I decided to be funny, lighten the mood a little bit, and attach the Pleurex to the eye drops and send it over. And then we also posted that on Instagram as like a joke.
Yeah, and the thing is that whoever was screenshotting this was screenshotting it through a 24-hour period. So meaning they hopped on our IG page, saw Peter sleeping, screenshotted it. 2 days later, saw the PureWick attached to the eye drops, took a picture of that as well. And so it's, it didn't happen out of chance. It was just somebody that...
With intention,
just didn't like something. And I guess where this really started is there's already drama between days and nights, right? There's already this little
disconnect.
They don't like each other. And then the manager, was talking about days and nights, and that, night shift's hardworking and they have things to do as well. They're not just goofing off. And whoever just had that evidence of us just, sleeping and me goofing off, and they decided to spread this information on the unit.
So, and it went up to our manager, it went up to a CFO. Everybody got word of this. So the thing that she showed these people was me sleeping and us sending the eye drop with the PureWick. And she basically said that, hey, night shift has time to sleep and night shift has time to goof around. What's going on? These two nurses are doing a bad job. And the thing about social media is there's no background to those images, right?
Yeah, there's no background. It's just,
Like the PureWick one, I don't even know why they got upset about the PureWick one. It's funny. It's a funny moment trying to lighten the mood. Like they could call it waste of hospital resources, but we waste a whole bunch of other shit, and they waste a whole bunch of other shit too. You know what I'm saying? So that should be an issue. And if they want to argue that, then I guess they would hold up in the court of law. But whatever. That was just meant to be funny. And then the one with me taking a nap was, there's no, like I said, no background to it. So they don't know that we didn't have a break that night, right? Nobody's going to tell you that, hey, brain nurses are really rare at nights, right? We usually get like our little half an hour and that's it. Like before we got an hour break and a 15 and we had more breaks. Now there's days where we don't even take a 15-minute break.
Nothing, just nonstop.
Right. You don't get that from an image, from a video. Like, yeah, if I'm trying to, hurt someone's reputation, yeah, I would do the same thing that she did, but that's totally a dick move, right? We don't complain about day shift. Like, I don't complain about someone not being done. I might complain to Matt, like, hey, day shift didn't do this or that, but I'm not going to go up to the manager and say, hey, this isn't being done, unless it's a consistent issue, right? But if it's just like once in a while thing, it happens, 24-hour job. And if you're taking a nap, take a fucking nap, as long as your patients are being watched. I don't care if you're taking a nap. Like, you're probably just tired. You don't know what I did prior to that nap. You don't know if what was going down. Maybe I was just super tired. Maybe I just came into work, did a bunch of shit, and I'm super exhausted. Maybe it's my third one in a row, and I'm super exhausted. And I'm like, hey, Matt, can you watch my patient, take a quick 5-minute nap? Like, what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. And we're still, patient safety is not compromised. I'm taking care of them. And it happens. You're tired. I'm watching a patient. You got to use the restroom? Go ahead. Do you want to go heat up your food? Go ahead. I'm going to watch your patient. It happens all the time.
Yeah. It's just how we survive. And it's nights, too. Do you know how hard it is to stay up for 12 hours throughout the whole night from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.? That's so shady. Like, you tell me you don't take naps on days, my ass, dude.
It was just a perfect piece of content in the perfect time, perfect situation, and we were created the scapegoats. And it's like the worst feeling of just getting a call from a manager and he already left a voicemail. It's a big deal. And I guess there was so much talk about it in those past 2 days that we had to do something about it. So, we didn't get fired, but we can't post on social media regarding work at all. So if you're wondering why we don't post stories at work or anything to do with the hospital, well, we can't.
Yeah.
We can't. Maybe it's the next contract or something. Right now, it's better not to stir that pot.
Right.
And we had
And
to.
that nurse's intentions were probably to get us fired because we already talked about this a little bit, and we talked about a little bit about bullying and all that kind of stuff in like the workplace and in nursing. And Matt's political views and my political views aren't always aligned with people on days or people in nursing in general.
Just
So,
maybe the public in general,
you know,
right?
yes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. And the thing is, we haven't had any issues with this person that shares information. It kind of came out of nowhere. I maybe talked to her maybe once or twice. Didn't seem like she had any resentment toward me or anything like that. She seemed like a normal person, just somebody that you get a report from, and that's it. And then like she does this, and it's weird because you're like, what angle is she hitting us from? Is it just to drive the whole day shift night shift dilemma? Is it because she doesn't like us personally? Is it because she doesn't like us for our views? Like what's the
your
reasoning behind
motive?
this?
Yeah, what's your motive? Like, we're all here, we're all working. Like, why do that? Imagine the amount of energy you have to like screenshot this. And like, you must be thinking about it, it's bad. And then you have the audacity to blow it up all over the unit.
I'm really curious.
And
Maybe-
share these photos and
Maybe
stuff.
I might ask her, dude. Maybe if I see her, I'll be like, hey, can I talk to you after your shift? Because I want to, like, why? Like, I want to see your rationale for it.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
You know?
But
Maybe at the end of our contract, maybe like, because this would, I don't want to hit it from like not controversial, but a confrontative standpoint. So I don't want her to get like scared and be like, hey, Peter was questioning me on this. I felt like it was being questioned because you could definitely pull one of those, especially because I'm a dude. She could easily be like Peter was asking me these questions in like an angry manner. I'd be like, I wasn't asking you a question in an angry manner. I was just asking you in a normal tone. I'm trying to figure out what made you do this, and she could definitely flip it over like that.
So yeah,
and being aggressive. Imagine if from sleeping, getting caught taking a nap at work to being aggressive towards her for questioning her because she posted on me.
And it could take it that way.
Yeah.
It could be that dilemma. And that's what I don't like is that every single unit you're going to work into is you're going to see the culture, And normally what I'm used to, and this is what I told the manager, is if there's an issue, you want to take it on the same level of hierarchy, right? I forgot the leadership.
Chain of command?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the chain of command. It should be bottom, right? It should be nurse to nurse. If there's an issue, talk about it, ask the questions that we're going to talk about on the podcast, and hopefully you could resolve that issue. If you can't, you could take up to the chain of command. If you posted those photos because we're lazy or if my rooms are dirty and I'm a bad nurse or something, tell me that. Tell me maybe I forgot something. Hey, Matt, your rooms have looked messy for the past couple of days. Okay, I'll work on it. Instead of just throwing you underneath the bus, taking it past the chain of command to the freaking manager, and this point to the freaking chief nursing officer, right? And then we had to deal with it and take it like that. It just, if I was a staff, I would feel kind of backstabbed in a way. I'd feel like, I did something wrong.
Hell yeah, dude.
And that's a bad culture to be in, to be part of that like little, I don't want to call it like little snitch behavior, going around your back and manipulating things. I hate that. I hate it with a passion.
Right. Yeah, you report us, but I guarantee if it was your friend, you wouldn't condone them. You wouldn't condone. Or if it was like a physician taking a nap, she wouldn't have posted shit. She wouldn't have shared anything. Yeah. If it was somebody from days taking a nap, she wouldn't have said anything. Or even if it was a friend during nights, she'd probably be like, she probably laugh it off. But the fact that it was us, like why us? You barely even know us, dude.
Yeah.
It was probably easier to do that for her. I don't know what she was scheming. I'm kind of curious, dude.
And, the way things ended is we made an agreement that we had to write an email, which was sent to the whole unit. And it was just, us apologizing, us, stating that it was never our intention to upset days or night shift or add on to the fire of the conflict. And we just want to have a cohesive work environment and work as an effective team during COVID.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the way we said it. And
it's over with, hopefully. I'm sure people will still judge us. And there's probably some day shift nurses that they have this perspective of us where, just some fake-ass
sleepers.
Yeah, fake-ass night shift travelers that picked up a contract just to make some money. It's like, no, like, we do a good job behind the business. Like, shit happens.
Yeah.
Like every day before day shift leaves, I say, hey, is there anything you want me to catch up on? Is there anything that you left undone that you want me to take care of? And a lot of times, nurses say no, and then I see in the MAR that there's something that's not done or in a work list. And I like it when nurses say like, hey, yeah, I didn't get time to do this. Can you do this? And I say, yeah.
And I always tell them, like, it's a 24-hour shift.
Yeah. Like don't be afraid to tell me what you didn't do. Like it happens. You get busy. I'm not gonna be like, okay, well, I'll save it for you tomorrow when you get back. Like, no, I'm gonna do it because it's obviously supposed to get done, And the same way, like, don't look at me like I'm lazy because I'm telling you that, hey, I didn't get a chance to do this, or I didn't do that. Like, it's a 24-hour, like Matt said, 24-hour job. Sometimes things get prioritized over things, and we're human. Sometimes we forget. Plus, it's a COVID-19 room. So let's say your lipitor is due at, let's say, 5 p.m. and pharmacy hasn't sent it up or whatever, and it's a COVID room, and it just got there at like 6:45. That's fine. Don't go in the room. I'm gonna go in the room at like 8 o'clock. I'll give it to him. It's not a big deal. It's Lipitor. Yep. It's not like it's Midodrine, or anything like that where it's more critical. Like I'll do it for it. It's not a big deal, Or hey, I forgot to restart the tube feeds at noon. Can you make sure you start them? Things like that. Because tube feeds, you forget. You pause them, you give medication, you flush it, and you leave the room and like, damn, I forgot to restart the tube feeds.
The tube feeds are the worst, man. I wish I had a remote controller for them.
Right? And there's little things like that. Like, it's okay if you don't get it. Or hey, tell me you didn't change the dressing. There's the times where I changed the patient, I flipped them, I took the dressing off. I'm like, damn, I don't have the dressing in here. So I just put them onto the side, and I mean to go back in and put a new dressing on it. But sometimes you forget or you get busy with somebody else. I'm like, hey, I washed them up and everything. I just forgot the dressing in there. When you turn them, can you just put it? Sometimes it does suck because the patient's heavy and nurse is gonna be like you don't want to pass it on, but it's already too late in the night, and you gotta.
Right.
It's already too late in the day, and you still got a chart. You don't want to pass it along. You don't want to pass it off, but somebody's just like, yeah, sorry, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, man. I was just thinking, like, it's just nursing is not black and white, and there's just those situations you can't feel bad, right? It's a 24-hour shift, but also like try to do your best. Don't like always push things on. And you could tell when a nurse is sometimes lazy or things weren't done, or you could kind of catch them like stuttering in a way, or they're just like unsure. And it's cool, Just be honest with me,
You catch a nurse when they left something for you on purpose.
Oh, yeah,
for
man.
sure. You always catch them. They're always like, yeah, I was supposed to do this, but then this and that, and so now can you do this? You're just like, you have to wrap a story around it, huh? Instead of saying, hey, I didn't get a chance to do this, I was busy. Can you do this for me? If there's a story in the background, and it's like lingering.
It's guilt.
Yeah,
it's guilt.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. If a nurse says, hey, my other patient was crashing, we had to do this and that, you'll be able to tell, because we've worked as a nurse for this long, for 4+ years, that what story is legit enough.
It's the intent behind it.
So what story is actually legit and you didn't have time to do it versus a story that you give me to think that you're busy and didn't have time to do it. There's a difference. We catch it all the time.
Yep, and it's just building your intuition into nursing. So, speaking of drama, this is our little story that we dealt with, and all is well now. We don't think about it at all. Like, we come to work, we don't give a shit about what happened. We kind of just, and even the first day, we just kind of went along with it. And that's the thing with drama, is just letting go of what happened and just letting it be. We can't change it. We can't be scared of it. Just embrace who you are and know your true self, and just, go with it and avoid it. If people want to call you names or for whatever happened, doesn't matter.
Right.
Just learn to let go of that. And you might be wondering why people create drama in the workplace. So we're going to go over some points here about why it might be happening, just so you can maybe realize those people that just love drama. So one of them is drama distracts you from focusing on your own life. So if you have something, someone to be mad about, it'll disengage you from looking at yourself deeply. So drama channels energy away from yourself, and it focuses into the wrong things in a way. And those are those people that just kind of like hate their own guts in a way, if you notice. Yeah. They never have that own self-love.
Right.
And it just always in the workplace, there's always something wrong. Those are the best people that could just always find a bad in a situation.
Their mind is so toxic and their view of themselves is so negative, where they need to talk about external people, external relations, just to not be thinking about themselves.
Yep.
That's what it is. That talk and that drama and that gossip about these external environments, people, suppresses their need to focus on themselves, because that's the true problem. Is not that drama that's going on, not what Cindy said to Billy, but how messed up they are in the head. I don't want to say messed up, but how lacking they are
Just
of
the way
love
they
in their
see
head.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but I don't know why it's so attractive to girls to always do this drama. Actually, I do know why.
I mean, that we're gonna keep on going hitting these points, bro.
Let me make this real quick.
Yeah.
Remember that book that I read that was about the female psyche and how females think and the thought processes?
Okay.
The overarching theme of that book was that women think predominantly in stories. More women think in stories. That's why drama is so appealing to them, because it's just stories. Not only a story, but it's a story that they could control little aspects of, right? Because when girls talk drama, there's always that one fundamental truth, but then other things get added to it, and that's the drama. You
Yeah.
know? So like I would say Matt's pants fell down during work and I saw his boxers. A girl would be like, "Did you hear Matt's pants fell down? You saw his boxers, but then his dick was there too." You know, like adding on to it.
Yeah.
Because they like the drama because they're discussing it because it's the story of what happened to Matt, but then they add on their little thing like this, because this now it's like not only a story but it's also my story. You know.
And you know what's funny? It's also that story about, like, for example, let's just make up a name. John. John left work, right? No one knows where John went. But everybody's adding on stories of he went there. Yeah, he left. Oh, he took his COVID sick pay. And it's just like, here's a story, you know? And it's like, I feel like also people's lives are so boring and dull. So they like over exaggerate these other stories because it gives them some kind of sense of that energy, right? It's like they use an external someone or something to channel positive energy within themselves in a way. It's like, damn, that's fucking shitty. Haha, look at you. But that's making me feel better because I feel so shitty about myself, kind of thing.
Or true. That's like true. They live their lives almost through that drama, through that conversation.
Yes.
Because at home they don't do shit. They don't go out. They don't do anything. They sit at home, and their enjoyment is just drama. They get to talk about these stories because their life is a boring story. So their exciting story is the drama that goes on workplace. It's like watching a TV. It's like watching soap opera, but at work.
Yes.
And you're the actual soap opera. You know.
That's what it is, man. And then also drama is familiarity. So not everybody's childhood is the same. You've heard Peter and I's childhood. Some people grow up with dysfunctional families, dysfunctional homes where addiction and trauma is present. So this familiarity will create chaos. It'll create unclear boundaries within yourself. And it'll teach people that, engaging in this dysfunctional conflict is something normal. It's part of life. It's the way to live. So we are drawn to what we know best, right?
Yeah.
It's like this nature versus nurture to think. So we don't know how to disengage in this kind of drama healthfully. And we go into the work environment and we do the same thing where you just pick on these things.
Right.
So that kind of makes sense where you might be dramatic due to your childhood experiences.
Yeah. Like the one reason why I talk pretty loud and you talk pretty loud too, and your dad talks loud.
Oh man.
And my mom talks loud. So that's where it actually comes from. That just shows you just that's something so small like that where you kind of look back like, why am I so loud? Why do people always tell me I'm screaming? Why do people always tell me I'm
I
screaming?
laugh at it. Sometimes Pete and I are having a conversation like, Pete, like I'm in Polish, I'm talking a little bit quieter, dude. Especially with the Pappers. We're just like screaming. It's screaming because it's loud, and then we're screaming because we're just in the hallway and everybody looks at us. We're like yelling at each other or something, right?
So that just shows you, like, if you grow in a home environment where people speak loudly, you're gonna speak loud too, because if you're speaking softly, no one's gonna hear you talk when they're talking, right?
At home.
When your parents talk, they speak loud, especially if like parents argue a lot when you're younger. It's to get their attention, you gotta speak over them, right? So you learn to speak loudly, not necessarily yell, but speak louder. And my mom talks loud as fuck all the time, especially when she gets on a tangent, dude. It's just like holy shit, especially when she's in the car. Like when my mom's in the car, dude, I realize she talks so loud, dude. And I imagine, and when her at a wedding, dude, holy shit. And then your dad's the same thing. Like when I talk to your dad when I come over, he's talking loudly too, dude.
Bro, like people think he's angry or something.
Yeah,
He's just talking.
Yeah, this is how I talk, and that's just how you pick up on it. Because when you're a younger kid, your dad's voice hasn't really changed very much. He still talks the same loudness level as he did, right? So as a kid, you had to talk louder because either A, our dads didn't hear us because they work in a loud environment, so their hearing is poor to begin with, and then they talk loud themselves, so you got to talk loud too, and that's kind of how that develops. You don't notice it. It's
Right.
it's subconsciously taught. That shows you how ingrained kind of these traits are from a young age.
Yes, and including drama in this case.
Yeah.
Same thing with like these chemicals that are released during drama, they actually could be addicting. So these chemicals of anger actually feel addicting. An individual who has a boring and dull life, they're going to seek these thrills of adrenaline, this rush. And if you're making somebody else angry, that's kind of feeling your adrenaline, right? So these endorphins that you get from anger actually could become addicting.
Yeah.
Just like a runner's high, just like anything else. So just like we talk about being subconscious, like, dude, you just pick up on that without even realizing it. You're just getting angry. You love it. In Spanish, they call it chisme. Sometimes I catch myself too. It's like, I'm bored and I almost want to chime into something just to get that like little splurge, right?
Yeah, a little scoop.
It's weird, man. It's like it's like getting spoon-fed some ice cream at work. It's like you're bored and it's like, how like work is stressful, so you eat a piece of candy and that just gives you this rush. Same thing with drama, bro. It's just like feeding a little bit of that rush of that booty, that bullshit.
Yeah, it's
I don't want to call it booty, like,
like when kids grow up in like an environment where there's a lot of like toxicity, like a lot of anger and in the family, a lot of like conflict, like that creates people that this is kind of going off of drama, or kind of going away from drama. But I just want to give you guys this because I read it in a book somewhere, or I don't know how I figured this out, but basically, if you're raised in a home that has conflict, that has a lot of anger, so kids that grow up with like where the husband beats the wife, things like that, what is it, marital abuse, spousal abuse, things like that. So as a young kid, you experience these super high peaks of these emotions like anger, where it desensitizes you. Like kids that are from those homes, their sadness level is like, I don't know, you guys can't see this.
Like a threshold?
Their threshold is so much higher.
okay.
It's so much higher up, and they keep hitting these peaks. They keep hitting these peaks where, in the future, your body gets, if this happens continuously, your body adapts to a higher level of anger threshold. So you're going to have anger issues in the future because your body's natural state is already being angry. Because every day you came home to arguments. Every day you came home to your parents yelling. And that builds fear as a kid, right? So that develops fear, and that turns into anger as a kid growing up. And you're always fearful of coming home because you know what's there. You're always scared of coming home because you know what's going to be there. Like, hey, this is Tuesday. Let's say last Tuesday
This happened.
this happens. Like my parents always argue on Monday through Thursday because that's when they're always home at the same time. And that's why children avoid coming home, because they know that at home it's anger and there's sadness because of their parents arguing, and their state of being isn't calm. It's already anger, because when they're home from 4 p.m. till 10 p.m., all they deal with is sadness and anger because everyone's arguing.
That's a very good
And
point.
that's their baseline. That's a new baseline. That's where their body has learned to live. And that's why, people have issues explaining emotions, because if you're already on a high emotion level, it takes a lot more of that emotion for you to be able to express it. You get it?
That's deep.
I'm saying, especially with love, if like kids don't get a lot of love when they're younger, their threshold, they're living on a lower level of love, right? So they're not gonna know how to express it because they're already on a lower level.
Yeah.
Like it's you met those people that are kind of hard to hug, hard to touch, right? They kind of don't know how to do it, right? Because they've never been experienced to that.
Yeah, it's like a new emotion. It makes you feel uncomfortable, right?
yeah.
It's like you cringe to it. It's like, whoa, what is that feeling? It's like, yeah, because you just had anger in your. It's like energy. Right? We always talk about energy. It's like you just had energy of anger the whole time. And you never changed your your state of being.
Right. It's hard to do because if that's been your state of mind growing up, and you don't really, as older you get, the more control of your life you have, right? But when you're young, you don't have a lot of control. You gain control as you age, right? So you don't have much control as a kid. Those feelings that you have, you don't even understand them. You can't. You're not a 15-year-old kid and said, "Hey, I gotta meditate and work on myself."
It's like the Maslow.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You don't get the concept. Your body is just a physical being of itself that's working on chemicals, and that's kind of where it sits on a chemical level, right? That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to look at people's childhood to see why they are the person that they are today. That's where it stems from.
Product of the
Because that's already
environment.
programming. You know, it's kind of work. That's why with the whole love thing, like let's say somebody isn't very affectionate, they might feel the feelings that you get. Let's just say you make out with a girl. They might have the same feeling of you making out with
Just
the girl.
kissing or tongue?
Tongue.
Okay, kissing.
Like a lot of tongue action, you know?
I was gonna say I'm kidding, but I said I'm kissing instead
let's
of
say
I'm kidding.
You've had an amazing, childhood,
Yeah.
and your perspective of love is right where it's supposed to be, and you get those feelings with making out with a girl. You get those feelings, but then somebody that has not experienced love, a hug could be the same, a hug could be too overwhelming because they've never been hugged before.
Yeah.
The hug's gonna be like, damn, I've never felt like this before. And it becomes scary, and people don't know how to deal with that, and that's why when it's older, it takes time to be like, okay, it's okay to give random people hugs, or I mean, not so much now because of COVID-19, but it's like it's okay to be hugged. They've never been hugged before, they've never been touched before, so it's different for them. It's almost like a whole new experience, and they don't know how to take it. They don't know how they don't know the feeling because they haven't felt with it before.
Very, very good point, man. I love this perspective. And that's why I feel like you can change anything with your mind, right? But it depends what kind of human you are and what kind of level you are, right? Because if, you're saying you have this trauma, let's just say you have this trauma of anger, or let's just say you're anger, so you're depressed and you got to take pills for it and stuff, right? So your childhood made you this kind of person, right? So you have this power right now that you could stop being angry, get off your antidepressants. You can change your whole life around, right? But people don't have enough that energy, that focus, and that being that present to change that.
Yeah.
Therefore, you need those pharmaceuticals, right? But we really could do anything, man.
I mean, but there's the people that really do need it.
Yeah, of course.
So you can also take a perspective on it because we're the ones that believe that almost everybody should be able to hop off antidepressants, those kind of things.
It's like the placebo effect, right? The sugar pill.
Right. For every point is if it's a mental issue, you should be almost mentally able to get over it, right? Like if it's a issue going on in your mind, you're like the head honcho in your mind, you should be able to kind of try and change it. But there is those aspects. Sometimes I look at serotonin, dopamine, things like that, almost like testosterone. Sometimes men lack testosterone,
yes,
and they could change the diet out to promote it. They could go to the gym. They could do all these things to promote it, and they could get it up higher, but they still can't get it to that normal point. So there are some people out there that really do need these medications.
Yeah, and I agree with you. For example, somebody that has a car accident, traumatic brain injury, and their brain doesn't produce serotonin. So you have to get on a antidepressant for 6 years, whatever the case is, in order to help replenish your serotonin receptors and for them to start responding normally again. Yeah. So I agree to both perspectives.
Yeah. And even like mentally, it's people with childhood trauma, they still might need help too because different thresholds, we're all different, and some people might be able to live an amazing life with I'm not sure what the threshold for serotonin is or whatever. They might be able to live perfectly fine with a low serotonin amount, and they'll be able to live any life just like me and you. That's how their body works. That's how they accustom to it, and they could be successful, do whatever they want. But there's some people that need a higher amount of serotonin or whatever these SSRIs do.
Yeah,
and they're trying to do it, but they're almost there, and they might need a lower prescription just to kind of get them over that bump. Those people are there too. Everyone's different, and pharmacology is good, and it's good that we have these standards for cardiac disease where it's pressures. But when you're dealing with the mind, we definitely need more patient-centered doses.
Yeah, like precision medicine in a way.
Yeah.
The next thing for the drama in the workplace. So there's something called the car phenomenon, and this is why there's possibly drama in the workplace as well. Is have you ever noticed when you're driving on a highway, and even though the car accident's happening on the opposite side, people in your lane still tend to slow down. They tend to slow down. They have to see what's going on in the other lane because they don't want to miss out on what's happening. They just can't miss it, right? They want to know what's happening. And drama's the same way. And the news agencies, they do the same thing. Mm-hmm. They tried to make this news so irresistible that you just can't not look at it, can't not read it, can't not talk about it.
Right.
So it's, this weird phenomenon that we're at work and we have to be part of it. We have to be part of what's going on, because if we're not, we're going to kind of miss out on it.
Yeah. Some people are sucked into drama easier than others.
Yes.
They they hear like some chit chat and they automatically kind of go over like listen up a little more, and then they listen a little more, and then they finally get engaged in it because they try to get the full scoop, right? I'm pretty good at deflecting that. Like a lot of times when women talk drama, and like when they even try to get me into the conversation, like you know how women talk, and then they'll randomly be like, yeah, but it's something Peter would do, right, Peter? And I would be like, yeah, and I just move on because I know they're trying to suck me into something, you know, like
Yep.
they're talking about something. And it's just like, yeah, they try to kind of get your opinion, but they don't really want your opinion. They just want you to be part of this, you know, something like that. Have you noticed that before?
It's weird, man. I've
Right?
noticed that as well.
Like they include you in a conversation, they say your name in a conversation just to include it to you, just so you could kind of be in there, not necessarily for the value of what you're going to provide, but they just kind of want to see what you're going to say, so they can kind of refute it, or are really interested in what you kind of want to.
But also they want to justify their point. They want to
Right.
justify their anger, their outrage by doing this.
It's just like, wouldn't you do the same thing, Matt? If somebody, if Sarah came up to you and did this, wouldn't you react the same way? Like, you know, like yeah, but then they're looking for a yes and a no, but they also want more. You know,
Yeah, it's weird.
sometimes they want you to talk some shit too. You know, for some reason.
Just
you know?
just add on to the fire,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And you could assess your unit's culture of drama. And when you look at culture, it's weird. It's like this weird invisible culture that's described, you know, based on values. So like your unit's culture is based on values, behaviors and actions that the whole group takes as a whole. And that kind of becomes the operating system of the unit. So if you have this culture that in our situation that doesn't, you know, do the chain of command when it's nurse to nurse, they just bounce around to the manager, that's the culture. So that this culture has been going around for some time. And there's another instance that I know that this happened, I'll tell you after the show, where, yeah, you don't talk to the nurse, you just kind of go to the manager. And this is the norm. So this culture of what we experience is something that's been going around in our hospital for a while.
And that's scary because then you're nursing almost in fear.
Yes.
Like, because no one tells anybody about anything, is go straight to management. So you're almost like you got a target being placed on your back.
Yeah.
Like eventually, if people are getting randomly in trouble, randomers are getting in trouble just by the manager talking to them, like you're thinking like, when am I next? Like, and nobody knows who's doing this or why they're doing it. They just know somebody gets in trouble every so often, and it comes straight from management. So like you don't know what the hell is going on. Like you're almost fearful of saying something wrong or doing something wrong because God forbid that nurse sees you and reports you.
I'm low-key kind of cleaning up my room a little bit before end of shift too, you know? Making sure it's messy, because if that's the issue I got in trouble for, it's just so I don't hear that night shift, day shift crap.
Yeah, the jumping over the chain of command is always scary. It's almost like during communism, where it was the Cold War, where you couldn't trust your neighbor. You know, then that decreases nursing communication, because I don't want to talk to you, and maybe you're the one that's stirring all this up. So I don't know. I'm scared to talk to you now, because if I say a joke and you take it the wrong way, guess what? My ass is on a chopping block next, dude. And you know how sometimes I talk, like sometimes I just don't think of what I say, and I say some fucking weird shit, and people take it the wrong way. Next thing you know, you get in trouble for it. You know?
Yep. No, that's exactly what it is, dude.
Yeah. So then, how are you supposed to work properly and have a good working environment if everyone's like, it's almost like you're shadow banning people in the workplace.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to talk to somebody, and then you ask for help, and then you're just kind of, and then if you can't even talk to somebody on a personal level, or like just for like a fun level, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to ask for help with a patient, right? If me and you never talked before, it's a little bit more awkward for me to ask you for return help and boosting help than it is if I knew you on a more personal level.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you're not gonna help. You're not gonna ask for help because of somebody's like political view or something.
Right. Or God forbid, I put this patient incorrectly in swimmer's position, and an other nurse doesn't tell you you're in an incorrect position, and you both leave, and she tells the manager, hey, I helped Peter out with a proning, and his swimmer's position was wrong. And manager comes up, hey Peter, I heard you've been flipping people wrong. How long has it been going on?
Right.
It's like I've been flipping people wrong this whole time, and nobody ever told me.
Same thing with I had a nurse that she programmed the pump with just regular levo, 4 mics, or is it 16 mics an ml?
The concentrated one?
Instead of the 64 mics per ml, which is a quad strength.
Yeah.
So it's programmed wrong in the pump, so I was titrating levo wrong for like the first 2 hours.
That me too.
I switched it back. In the morning, I told the nurse, like, hey, by the way, your levo was wrong, and we laughed about it. I'm like, it's okay. Instead of me going to the manager and then she getting a text message or email like, hey, you got to stop titrating your levo because that's a medical error that's a near miss.
Yeah, 'cause when
like
it comes
imagine
to-
how she would feel.
Like, I would personally rather get corrected by another nurse than a manager.
Yeah.
Because then it seems like it's like you almost killed somebody, dude. I'd rather have a nurse tell me, hey, your patient wasn't cleaned up, than a manager telling you, hey, your patient wasn't cleaned up. Like, I feel like if it goes to manager, it means like you haven't cleaned your patient up 20 times compared to that one time that you didn't know. It seems so much different just because they have more authority. So now nurses get scared and fearful of management because, hey, now the manager thinks I'm an incompetent nurse because somebody told them that I did this. And then you feel like shit every time you meet the manager because the manager doesn't know you, especially on nights on a very personal level because we don't really see him. And our manager's always gonna know. He's never gonna forget about the incident. Never gonna forget. And that's kind of that's honestly on our shoulders, and we did a pretty good job of rubbing it off. But he didn't think it was the worst thing in the world. Exactly. But guess what? You still gotta remember it all the time. That's already in his memory. He's not gonna forget that because there was something he had to do. Yeah. Right. Compared to a nurse telling me, "Hey, Peter, saw you were sleeping. Day shift has been short for these past couple weeks. It's not really appropriate to post. I don't think it's fair. You guys are sleeping." And I would have been like, cool, man. I would have been like, I'm sorry that you took it that way. We haven't got on nights. We haven't got a break nurse in a week. Right. Oh, and then she's like, oh, really? We haven't got a break nurse in a week too. I'm like, yeah, it's tiring, And then she might be able to understand, hey, why were we taking a nap? But no, there's no conflict resolution there at all. Yeah. No conflict resolution whatsoever.
And that's like my next thing that I was gonna like do is like when you're in this environment, assess the coworkers that you're working with, after a few shifts. Do they enjoy drama? Are they willing to seek multiple viewpoints in the story? Exactly what you just said. Do they just like to gossip and just react strongly to news? What kind of coworkers are they? Are they frequently in fight or flight? Do they have a lot of interpersonal conflicts? Those people that are talking to themselves like, hey, John, you better hang that bag. And they have these verbal conversations with themselves. Sometimes they don't have a great state of mind internally. And I noticed a couple people that are like that. And of course, and they have a lot of interpersonal conflicts. They're the same way on the external way, man. They like to just stir shit up with other people,
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I stir shit up. Like, because you know how sometimes I make a joke here and there. And sometimes I'm just like, dude, why the hell did I say that? And then I just kind of keep my mouth shut if anybody adds on to it. But stir of the moment, sometimes you don't always think before you say things.
Of course, I'm the same way, man. Yeah. I said something stupid too,
but it's that continuous.
Continuing. You just have to catch them, catch your coworkers. The what they, are they like low key about it? Are they able to like ask questions? Because that's another thing. And usually, if you have a coworker that is causing drama, the one thing to do is just to be very blunt about them. Approach them right away. Assess the situation. You could ask them a couple questions, like if it's talking about somebody else, like how do you know these assumptions are true? How can we help to improve this situation? And they don't ask that question usually. How can we prevent this from happening? Okay, let's do A, Y, and Z. Let's go talk to them about this. They're never looking for solutions. They're just adding on to the gossip. They're adding fuel, and there's no conflict resolution. Yeah. And there's also questions like, how is my own behavior contributing to this, right? If you're adding only drama to this, is the situation getting any better? So you should maybe ground yourself a little bit from your own bullshit and ground yourself to the reality with what's happening because you're not making this environment better nor the situation, And how is this looking? So it's like helping those people become self-aware so they could ask questions of how my own behavior is affecting the situation. That'd be good. That's good conflict resolution because, there's a lot of kings and queens of drama. And we just have to kind of remind them that venting doesn't solve any issue.
And if you find yourself in like a unit that has a lot of drama, like you can't just completely ignore it because they are your coworkers, they're your peers. So you're going to need to talk to them at some point or another, and you don't want to be left high and dry. So, if your coworkers all love drama and they consistently live within this drama, and you try to stay out of it the best you can, you still gotta have some kind of a conversation with them. You might not like them as a person 100% because of all the drama that they still, but you still should talk to them. Yeah. So it's always good to try to ignore when they try to suck you into drama. Like when they ask you questions, you can just answer it straightforward, things like that. But when you start answering things straightforward, might not like you. If you just answer yes and no to questions, people are gonna stop talking to you, and they might not want to talk to you. Like might not view as enjoyable. So it's always good to do if you're just answering this question yes or no and not want to be part of the drama. It's always good to like ask how's your patient, because they have patients too, and open up that kind of conversation. Deflect the conversation from drama to like patience.
Yeah, and then also like solution focused. So instead of like just being negative about it, talking about it, or you continuing to talk about John or whoever the subject is, try to switch those questions and try to help them be reflective and how we can maybe de-escalate this or prevent this from happening.
Right. Yeah. You can always ask like, well, what would you have done if that happened to you? Like those kind of questions, But then that could be a little tricky, because that's a pretty common question that people ask, and they could stem it into more drama,
You do definitely have to be careful,
But yeah, but if you're struggling, it's always you're in the hospital. It's always easy thing to do is always deflect that drama into patient care. Just ask a random question like, hey, my patient's blood pressure is still low. Should we add fent? Just ask like a more concrete question, because all drama is just subjective responses, all opinionated.
Yeah.
So if you ask more of a concrete question with like an answer that is concrete, that'll kind of deflect from all that subjectiveness that you're getting, or sorry, objectiveness you're getting. You'll be so you'll be getting more objective than subjective. So that kind of a good way to deflect from drama, because drama isn't really anything factual a lot of times. It's just opinions and just kind of nonsense and just kind of filling in the gaps to tackle a more concrete conversation.
So you're telling people to just switch the subject?
Yeah, to a more concrete one.
Sure.
That's less subjective, more objective kind of stuff.
Okay, so you're kind of getting away from the story itself.
Yes, exactly. But in like a quieting manner, and not just shutting off that conversation, because if they bring you into it, sometimes you do get in there deep, but you can't always say yes or no. Or if you do say yes or no doesn't breed a good environment. Because if I'm trying to get to know you and all you're saying is yes or no, then I'm not going to get to know you very well, and I'm not going to want to talk to you, right? But you're working a unit with nurses, so you have to kind of learn to live in this drama sometimes. And the best way to live in this drama and not be seen as a negative person or this person that just they don't like, you have to be able to intertwine in these conversations, And the best way to do that, if you don't want to talk about the drama, is to kind of steer the conversation into a more concrete, more objective approach to things.
I like that.
That way, because opinions, I could be wrong, you could be wrong, I could be right, you could be right. And it just depends on what you're thinking at the point.
Whoever has the strongest truth in a way.
Exactly. But these objective things, it's right for me and you.
I agree.
That's one way to deal with it that I've learned to be valuable.
I think we should wrap this one up.
Yeah, it was long 2-part series for you guys.
Yeah. And then like ultimately, like the last thing that I've written here is like, it's going to take like leadership to change everything, right? It's going to take leadership to change like the behavior, to help people become aware of like what's going on with them and how to change everything.
Yeah. But, the best leadership is definitely a key portion, but it has to start somewhere. So let it start with you. Why don't you try being a better person, and that's going to eventually rub off to other people. That's the best. That's probably the best. If management's not taking care of it, and management can't always take care of it. How many times has management tried to instill something where the nurses just didn't want to do, and guess what? It wasn't done.
Yeah.
So be the change you want to see. It's hard. It's really
Mahatma
hard.
Gandhi right there, bro.
Yeah. Be the change you want to see, and be the change you want to instill on people, because it might not rub off on Betty, Susie, and Sarah, but guess what? It might rub off on a new grad. And then guess what? Betty gets a new job. And there's no more Betty. Now there's just you and a new grad, and you and a new grad are stemming this new work environment. And now Sarah's gone. And now Melissa comes in, and you're talking to Melissa, and then you get rid of these negative people slowly because they move on, or they're going to be forced to change.
Yes.
Because guess what? If there's just Sarah and Becky and Katie left, now Sarah has nobody to gossip to, and Melissa's not having that shit, Peter's not having that shit, and the new guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, that negative environment's going to be gone.
Agreed, man. And that's how you change things, and that's how you create that new culture of organization that's not going to be so negative and drama-based.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have an amazing day. Hope you enjoyed this. Check out our Patreon. Donate to our cause. Buy some merch. Peace.
Episode 100.